Councillor Vandenberg,
Yes.
Councillor White,
Yes.
and Mayor Bradley.
No, I will not vote in favor of the question, and we will deal with this issue anyhow on July the 13th with an reopening plan. So the
Thank you.
motion is defeated. If we can move on then to the minutes of the June 1st meeting. Councillor White, are you moving those minutes?
Yes, I move that the minutes of June 1st, 2020 as printed be adopted.
All those in favor? Any questions from the minutes?
Mayor Bradley,
Yeah.
my apologies, sir. As you know, I missed the first part of the meeting. I was unable to declare a conflict of interest. My wife, as you know, is president and CEO of Blue Water Power, so I will have to declare a conflict of interest pertaining to any matters pertaining to Blue Water Power.
Okay, thank you. That's recorded. Councillor Calhoun, Councillor Burrow, Councillor Stark.
Yeah, as been noted and has been discussed publicly and on email, the notice of motion for the Blue Water Power cost containment, the minutes do not reflect the actual meeting and what you, Mr. Mayor, had actually passed. So I move that we make an amendment to actually reflect the meeting and it be a 5-3 vote with Councillor Bouchy's vote being as yay. And if Councillor Bouchy decides that he would like a reconsideration, then he has every right to do that. But as the meeting carried and you, Mr. Mayor, actually carried, then I think it needs to reflect the actual meeting.
Okay, thank you. Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Stark. All right. I just want to go to the clerk for a second.
Your Worship, I lost the Zoom. I can't see anybody.
We can see you.
You're
I
visible.
don't see anybody.
David,
Just
you're
plain page.
okay. You are on the video still. So to Mr. Tim, you write the minutes. Can you talk to us about this?
The video, it was felt that there was a technical glitch in the sense that we've experienced throughout the whole meeting, where basically a lot of the audio and video basically froze and went in and out because there was a potential in preparing the minute, a potential misrecording of how Councillor Bouchy actually voted. I had requested that staff actually confirm with him how he voted. So this question is fundamentally different than a scenario where Councillor Bouchy had changed his mind or misunderstood the question. The intent of the minute was to simply have him basically voice how he actually voted. And because he indicated that he voted at that time against the motion, I felt that the minute should reflect ultimately how he actually voted at that time. Pending ultimately the prerogative of this council to confirm the vote, how it actually happened while you're debating in this particular case now. So that was basically the motivation behind it, essentially, just to make sure that the minutes actually reflect how each councillor voted at that time.
Okay, before I go to Councillor Burrow and Stark, I just want to make sure I understand fully where we're at. You proposed the minutes to council. This is what you're recommending to us. So is it, to get this out of the way, is it better to deal with the motion from Councillor Calhoun saying it was a 5-3 vote, or is it better just to have the vote on the minutes and those that don't agree with the minutes defeat the minutes, and then we go to that motion? I just want to make sure we do this right. I don't want to go through this at the next meeting saying it wasn't handled right.
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor. In this particular case, it's how the minute is prepared. It's my proposal as to how it reflects the actual outcome of the minute per se. So ultimately, it's a decision as to see, does the minute reflect the vote of each councillor as it happened live, right? So I would basically propose it in the same way you did, to see if councillor is willing to accept the minutes as presented by the office of the city clerk. So
the simpler way to do this is to have council vote against, or who doesn't support the minutes to vote against it.
That's correct, yes.
And then if that failed, we would go to Councillor Calhoun's motion.
It would.
Okay.
Can I make a motion to reject the minutes?
I think the simpler way, Councillor Calhoun, is simply to vote, knowing your position, to vote against the minutes and see how many other people support you. And then I would go back to you, if that failed, come back to you for your motion that it reflect that.
Well, I would like to at least have a discussion around what happened here without just blindly passing these minutes without us all being able to speak to this, I guess.
Well, you can speak to it. You just did. Councillor Burrow, Councillor Stark.
Yes, Your Worship. I don't think your approach is what I would suggest that we do, because the objection is not against all of the minutes. And if we rejected, for example, all of the minutes, then whatever was supposedly done throughout that whole meeting would be thrown out. What I believe the motion is addressing is the notice of motion, the recording of the vote, in that it does not reflect what was said at the time. And as I recall, they're talking about there being problems with the sounding, but as I recall, Mr. Bushy, Councillor Bushy, had actually gone to City Hall and was in the same room as you were.
That's not correct, Councillor Burrow. He was not in this room.
He was at City Hall.
He had a technical problem, so I didn't know it, but they allowed him to come in to be in the building. He was in a different room. And I think that's where I'm looking the simplest way out of this. And it's doing the 5-3 vote. Fine, let's just get on with doing the city's business. So I've got Councillor, I'm going to let the motion stand at the 5-3 one, and we'll see where that goes. Councillor Stark, and then I'll look at the question.
So are we now dealing with the 5-3 vote, or are we dealing with the minutes in their entirety?
We're dealing with the 5-3 vote on the minutes. So it'd be the minutes as amended, is the way I'm reading it.
Mhm.
If that motion passed, it would be the minutes as amended.
And so we're voting on the amendment.
Well, you're voting basically on the amendment, and if it fails, we go to the full minutes, and that will stand as the record. If it's amended, then we deal with the minutes as amended.
So just so I'm clear, the amendment is to reflect page 178, a 5-3 vote in favor versus the recorded vote recorded as 4-4 and lost. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
That is my motion.
Councillor White.
Thank you. I'll be supporting the amendment. I did some reading of Robert's Rules of Order yesterday on their website, which included a number of discussions on specific scenarios, and under no circumstances have I ever seen where the clerk's office or the parliamentarian changed the outcome of a vote after the fact that the meeting is closed. So with respect to Councillor Bushy, as was indicated, certainly welcome to bring back a motion of reconsideration if he felt it was recorded incorrectly. However, the time during that meeting to have indicated that it was incorrect would have happened before we either moved on to the next item, and certainly before we adjourned the meeting. So.
Okay, so thank you. I'm going to call the question. So I want to make sure the question's understood. Can you read the question? It would be to approve the minutes with this amended change.
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
I will start with Councillor Bird.
I
Sorry?
No.
No. Councillor Bushy?
No.
Councillor Burrell?
Yes.
Councillor Calhoun?
Yes.
Councillor Dennis?
Am I allowed to vote on this?
Oh, sorry. No, you're
No,
in
no, Councillor
conflict.
Dennis.
Sorry, that's my error. Councillor Stark?
Yes.
Councillor Vandenberg?
No.
Councillor White?
Yes.
And Mayor Bradley?
No. So the amendment was defeated.
Defeat. It's failed, yes.
Okay, so can I have a vote on the minutes as presented? Those in favor of the minutes as presented? Do you want to go ahead?
do a
Yes,
roll call?
I think it's important you do.
Councillor Bird?
These are just the minutes as presented to you.
Presented. I'm sorry. Yes. Okay. Councillor Bushy?
Yes.
Councillor Burrell?
No.
Councillor Calhoun?
No.
Councillor Dennis? Oh, sorry. Councillor Stark?
No.
Councillor Vandenberg?
Yes.
Councillor White?
No.
And Mayor Bradley?
I vote in favor of the minutes. So that passed, correct?
No.
No, it's a tie again. It's defeated.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to avoid. Okay, so Why don't you guys go away for a while and think about this? Because the amendment was defeated. But the
Am I
minutes-
allowed to make a motion on the floor?
Well, you did one earlier, and I want to get us out of here. So if you've got some suggestion, go ahead.
Well, I would like this situation specifically to be, I move that we send this to a third party solicitor or somebody who has some more parliamentarian understanding of what happened, that can review the video and then come back to us with what the legal ramifications would be of moving forward with this vote when you carried it, Mr. Mayor, and now we're changing it after the fact.
Well, please don't personalize this. I was dealing with a problem technically. It was only the day after I was told things had changed. And I stayed out of the discussion, and I stayed out of all your emails. Frankly, as they were saying, it doesn't matter to me what this ends up doing because it can be addressed some other way. But I just want to caution council, the last time you sent something out, it cost us $17,000 to a law firm. So is there a seconder for that motion from Councillor Calhoun? Councillor Starr.
Comment.
Go ahead.
This is a fundamental cornerstone of democracy, and that is transparency. And this whole motion deals with the issue of transparency. And if we don't pursue this, we are not being true to the values of democracy. And it is important that we send the message to the public that we are entirely transparent, that we investigate and make sure that their dollars are being spent appropriately. And that is exactly what this motion deals with in terms of understanding our responsibilities to the taxpayers of the city of Sarnia.
Thank you. I'll call the question. If no other speakers, and the motion is to send this out to a third party.
Thank you, Mayor.
And I want to ask the clerk or the lawyer, is there a simpler way to do this in a more inexpensive way through the ombudsman's office or some other way? I'm not getting an answer. Okay, well, let me just call the question then. Want to go ahead?
Okay, Councillor Byrd,
No, absolutely no.
Councillor Bucci,
No.
Councillor Burrell,
Yes.
Councillor Calhoun,
Yes.
Councillor Dennis, oh, sorry, Councillor Stark,
Yes.
Councillor Vandenberg,
No.
Councillor White,
Yes.
and Mayor Bradley.
No.
So we're back to, it's defeated.
Okay, I'm just going to call a timeout, and I think what we need to do is, I think you need to come back. I am not opposed to a third-party review. I just want to see it done without a great deal of cost. Is there someone in the clerk?
Can I amend the motion to limit the cost? And what this would cost, if that would have some of us move forward with this?
I'm looking for some direction here. I don't know how that works. How you?
We could contact the ombudsman's office.
Okay, the clerk is saying, I don't know if you can hear her, that she says maybe this she can contact the ombudsman's office and get their opinion on if that would be help move this forward.
Your Worship, can I make a recommendation here? As a CAO, I would look at council providing the CAO authorization to investigate this matter further and report back to council with any degree of high financial implications with respect to this matter. I believe myself, I can look after this matter and report back in a very sensitive way financially, and also provide the information that's required. So I would recommend that council delegate this action to the CAO, and I'll report back at the July 13th meeting.
Is that fine with council? Can we get it as a motion so I have it on the record? Councillor Calhoun, you okay?
Yeah.
Seconder, Councillor Burrow? No, you want to speak, Councillor Burrow? Okay, I think we should all agree with this direction just to move us forward. All those in favor?
You better get a recorded vote on
Let's
this.
go record.
No, I can see everyone's hands. All those in favor? I see everyone voting in favor except Councillor Dennis. There's a conflict, including myself. Okay, let's move on. Any urgent business, because we do